Good day. Chapter 8, A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. The next afternoon, we heard there was to be an attack up the river that night, and that we were to take 4 cars there. Nobody knew anything about it, although they all spoke with great positiveness and strategical knowledge. I was riding in the first car, and as we passed the entry to the British hospital, I told the driver to stop. The other cars pulled up. I got out and told the driver to go on, and that if we had not caught up to them at the junction of the road to Corman's, to wait there. I hurried up the driveway, and inside the reception hall I asked for Miss Barclay. She's on duty. Could I see her for just a moment? They sent an orderly to see, and she came back with him. I stopped to ask if you were better. They told me you were on duty, so I asked to see you. I'm quite well, she said. I think the heat knocked me over yesterday. I have to go. I'll just step out the door for a minute. And you're all right? I asked outside. Yes, darling. Are you coming tonight? No, I'm leaving now for a show up above Plava. A show? I don't think it's anything. And you'll be back tomorrow. She was unclasping something from her neck. She put it in my hand. It's a St. Anthony, she said. And come tomorrow night? You're not a Catholic, are you? No, but they say a St. Anthony is very useful. I'll take care of him for you. Goodbye. No, she said, not goodbye. All right. Be a good boy and be careful. No, you can't kiss me here. You can't. All right. I looked back and saw her standing on the steps. She waved, and I kissed my hand and held it out. She waved again, and then I was out of the driveway and climbing up into the seat of the ambulance, and we started. The St. Anthony was in a little white metal capsule. I opened the capsule and spilled him out into my hand. St. Anthony? Asked the driver. Yes, I have one. His right hand left the wheel, and he opened a button on his tunic and pulled it out from under his shirt. See? I put my St. Anthony back in the capsule, spilled the thin gold chain together, and put it all in my breast pocket. You don't hear him? No. It's better to wear him. That's what it's for. All right, I said. I undid the clasp of the gold chain and put it around my neck and clasped it. The saint hung down on the outside of my uniform, and I undid the throat of my tunic, unbuttoned the shirt collar, and dropped him under the shirt. I felt him in his metal box against my chest while we drove. Then I forgot about him. After I was wounded, I never found him. Someone probably got it at one of the dressing stations. We drove fast when we were over the bridge, and soon we saw the dust of the other cars ahead down the road. The road curved, and we saw the 3 cars looking quite small, the dust rising from the wheels and going off through the trees. We caught them and passed them and turned off on a road that climbed up into the hills. Driving in a convoy is not unpleasant if you are the first car, and I settled back in the seat and watched the country. We were in the foothills on the near side of the river, and as the road mounted there were the high mountains off to the north, with snow still on the tops. I looked back and saw the 3 cars all climbing, spaced by the interval of their dust. We passed a long column of loaded mules, the drivers walking along beside the mules wearing red fezzes. They were bersaglieri. Beyond the mule train, the road was empty, and we climbed through the hills and then went down over the shoulder of a long hill into a river valley. There were trees along both sides of the road, and through the right line of trees, I saw the river, the water clear, fast, and shallow. The river was low, and there were stretches of sand and pebbles with a narrow channel of water, and sometimes the water spread like a sheen over the pebbly bed. Close to the bank, I saw deep pools, the water blue like the sky. I saw arched stone bridges over the river where tracks turned off from the road, and we passed stone farmhouses with pear trees candelabraed against their south walls and low stone walls in the fields. The road went up the valley a long way, and then we turned off and commenced to climb into the hills again. The road climbed steeply, going up and back and forth through chestnut woods to level finally along a ridge. I could look down through the woods and see far below, with the sun on it, the line of the river that separated the two armies. We went along the rough new military road that followed the crest of the ridge, and I looked to the north at the two ranges of mountains, green and dark to the snow line, and then white and lovely in the sun. Then, as the road mounted along the ridge, I saw a third range of mountains, higher snow mountains that looked chalky white and furrowed, with strange plains. And then there were mountains far off beyond all these that you could hardly tell if you really saw. Those were the Austrians' mountains, and we had nothing like them. Ahead there was a rounded turnoff in the road to the right, and looking down I could see the road dropping through the trees. There were troops on this road, and motor trucks and mules with mountain guns, and as we went down, keeping to the side, I could see the river far down below, the line of ties and rails running along it, the old bridge where the railway crossed to the other side and across under a hill beyond the river, the broken houses of the little town that was to be taken. It was nearly dark when we came down and turned onto the main road that ran beside the river.